Howdy folks, I'm Moody Molybdenum, morosely modeling moldy mushrooms.
I'm Amber, although my services are no longer needed, so I don't know why I'm saying that.
And here are more moldy mushrooms for us to model. Amber, let's get started. Alright folks, our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for saying that if my parents and siblings really want to help the rest of the family, they could remortgage the house that I paid off for them. I won a substantial lawsuit against my city. It's just really lots of money. And I did what I always said that I would do if I ever won the lottery. I paid off my parents' mortgage and I bought a duplex and gave each half to my brothers and sisters. The rest of the money I'm investing so I will never have to work again and I can enjoy the rest of my life. My family had me over last weekend because I'm leaving for Indonesia to begin traveling around the world. They said that we have family and friends that need help and that I was being selfish by blowing the money on myself and basically retiring at 29. I said that I had already done a lot for my immediate family and that if they felt so strongly about it, that between the three of them, they had over $1 million in equity and they could tap into that with a loan and then they could work to pay off their new mortgages. It started a fight because my dad cut back on his work hours because he doesn't have a mortgage anymore and neither of my siblings would qualify for a mortgage on their own. I walked out and I went home to finish packing. They won't stop texting me and trying to call me. Apparently, I need to work for the next 30 years. I don't. My girlfriend who is joining me thinks that I'm being mean. I don't think I am. I have enough to last the rest of my life. If I ever want a house, I will be able to buy one. If I want to have kids, I will be able to pay for their education. But not if I give away a big chunk of my money to people I know for a fact will never help me in return. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. I mean, it's your money, not their money, and they're acting really entitled for people who received a very generous gift.
Yeah.
I think it's unfortunate that you've improved their quality of life. Like, your dad's been able to cut down on his work hours because he doesn't have a mortgage anymore, and the way they repay it is by being, you don't deserve this, you should just give all this money away.
Well, and I think that this is one of those situations where if the dad cut back on his hours, then maybe he can work full time so that he can help these other people who are in need. It's really interesting when people are generous with other people's money. And maybe they feel like OP doesn't deserve this money because maybe they earned it in a way that they don't approve of, but that again isn't their decision, and if they feel so bad about that money, then they shouldn't have accepted his gifts either, right?
Yeah. Well, I think they're just jealous because OP gets to retire at 29, whereas they all have to keep working.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm assuming this lawsuit was for a reason. Like, I don't know the extent of the lawsuit, but you usually don't win big lawsuits for no reason.
Yeah, like dismemberment or false imprisonment or police. I don't know if if there was something to do with like the police, for instance, or any number of things. There could be a lot of reasons, but again, like this seems like a lot of money to give someone, so there must have been something pretty bad that ended up happening to OP because you don't end up with a multi-million-dollar settlement for nothing, right? So, I don't know. I wish I knew more details about the settlement, but again, probably OP is hiding that information for a reason.
Yeah, well, and at the end of the day, it's your money, OP, and you are entitled to do with it as you please. It was very generous of you to buy your family houses as is. And I have a feeling that if you were to give more money, they would just kind of use it to show off as like, look at what we've gotten for you. And like, you're right that these people probably would not return the favor.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. That really is unfortunate. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. El Bandata says, not the jerk. Good for you. Prepared to receive lots of messages via Reddit asking for money. And OP replies, there's a reason for this account. And International Fee 255 says, not the jerk. Dude, change your number and be careful of the girlfriend that wants you to give away more of your money to ungrateful people. And OP replies, she doesn't want me to give more away. She is contributing to our trip. She just thinks that I was mean. And if that's the case, maybe OP was being mean and she was trying to just get him to tune it down a bit. But he sounds like he's very frustrated with his family, understandably, right?
Yeah, so I would need more information about how the exchange went down to weigh in on the girlfriend's thing. Because, like, you can be a right and but express things in a way that's not nice or helpful.
Yeah. And if he was over there swearing at them and telling them, to go away in not such nice terms, then maybe that was not the nicest way of handling the situation. So I don't know if I blame the girlfriend in this situation for giving their opinion about being a little nicer. And Slab Beef Punch says, not the jerk. I was pretty confident in saying your family went ahead and made promises before talking to you. That's why they're freaking out. Tell your girlfriend that if she's worried, you can cancel her ticket and she can stay and help. They are so completely out of line that it's unreal. Go travel the world and enjoy yourself. Alright folks, our next letter is titled, Today I messed up by canceling my roommate's favorite TV show. This didn't happen today, but many, many years ago when I was in college. My roommate was obsessed with one particular TV show, which I was also a fan of, but he was very into it. He joined different forums and groups about it. He participated in chat rooms about it. He was obsessed. At the time, it was up in the air as to whether or not the TV show would be canceled. So, being an immature 19-year-old, I decided to have a little fun. I had recently found out about this service that would distribute anyone's article for free. Knowing that my roommate had set up alerts for everything to do with the show, I was fairly certain that if anyone was going to see what I was about to do, it would be him. I wrote up an article announcing the cancellation of the show. I started off by making it sound very official and professional, and then deliberately threw some bizarre statements into the article. Things that would never appear in any official announcement. I looked it over and I sent it in and promptly forgot about it. Well, the next morning I got up and jumped in the shower and started getting ready for class, and I hear my roommate shout, "Oh my goodness." I walked back into the room and I asked what's going on. My roommate looked devastated. They canceled it. They actually canceled it. They're idiots. I asked why they had done that. He proceeded to read the rest of the article out loud. As he reached the bizarre statements, he got a confused look on his face and held his hand towards the screen and said, "What in the world is this nonsense?" I burst out laughing and my roommate realized that he had been had. He shook his head and said, "You're such a jerk. Seriously, dude, how did you even get that out there?" We had a good laugh and he vowed to get me back, and I went off to class. Later that day, I walked into our dorm room and my roommate got a huge grin on his face. He said, "Congratulations, dude, you're famous." He said, happily. "What did you do?" I asked. "Oh, I didn't do anything," he replied. "This is all you're doing." He sent me a link and told me to open it up. The link that I opened up was to a post on one of the fan forums of the show. The subject was that the show was being canceled, and the post was a direct copy of my fake article. Below, people were reacting with devastation and pure outrage at the network's decision to cancel the show. They had overlooked the bizarre statements and had taken the fake article as an official cancellation of the show. I couldn't believe that it had spread so far. I read page after page of devastated fans mourning the demise of their favorite show. And then the mood shifted. The creator of the show posted on the forum after he was contacted by several fans. The post was along the lines of, "Well, I hope we're not canceled because I'm at the office and working. Now I'm fielding phone calls from my writers asking if they all have jobs." "Oh no," I said. My roommate burst out laughing. "Oh no is right, dude. Keep reading." As I continued to read, the tide of comments turned from angry at the network to angry at whatever person decided to pull this stunt. These people were out for my blood. They talked about tracking me down and beating me up. That was when I learned that my roommate was far from the most devoted fan, and at least he found it funny. They wrote both to the network and the show creator, encouraging them to serve paperwork on the service that I used to release the article and to find out what my IP was, which would have been traced back to the college and likely resulted in disciplinary, if not legal action against me. I spent the next 2 months thinking that I was going to get expelled or arrested. Meanwhile, my roommate just laughed at me every time I got anxious and told me it served me right. The following month, the fake article was referenced by the TV Guide and is still mentioned on both the IMDb and Wikipedia pages for the show. As for me, well, I haven't spoken to anyone about this in many years, and I'm still choosing to use a throwaway because my regular account has a bit too much personal information on it. Edit 2, just woke up to see that someone guessed correctly and it was Veronica Mars. This happened in 2006. My comments may still need manual approval, so I don't know if they're showing up. But as I promised, I can confirm that it was Veronica Mars, and Rob Thomas joined the Television Without Pity forums to confirm that the show was not canceled. The forums are since defunct, so the link to the page is dead, but here is where it was. And then they send a link. All right, folks, what do you think about this story? Jerk or not the jerk for ancient crimes?
I mean, I think the tricky thing is that those emails went out to not just the friend, but to a lot of other people. And that's the risk you run when you, I mean, wasn't it Orson Welles who created a panic with his radio airing, essentially, of War of the Worlds, a radio adaptation?
Well, I mean, I think some of it is that back in the day, the internet was a lot smaller. And in 2006, he probably wasn't expecting quite that reaction of like mass hysteria because, you know, there wasn't any mass social media back then. It wasn't like you could, go onto Facebook or Instagram or Twitter to make these kinds of announcements, you know.
It was MySpace.
Was there MySpace in 2006?
Oh, yes, there was.
Was it 2006? Was it around? But I mean MySpace.
I think that's...
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, I think that's around when I made my MySpace, 2005, 2006.
So, I mean, I think that it was just one of those things where the internet was a lot smaller back then, and it was probably he wasn't expecting it to create quite this much, like, outrage. And so, but I do think that this was, like, not a nice thing to do, but I think that pales in comparison to some of the hoaxes that we've seen in recent years, right? Like the internet is, I think this is just one of those lessons where you can't believe everything you see on the internet, and this is the reason why, because bored college students messed it up for everyone. I'm just kidding. It's not just bored college students.
No, certainly.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And ZZZZZ Show says, is this the press release that OP wrote, released via PR Web, not having any knowledge of the show, and the broadcast networks in the US? This seems fairly well written to me. Los Angeles, California, PR Web, March 29, 2006. UPN has announced the cancellation of cult classic Veronica Mars. The series starring Kristen Bell as the spunky high school age detective has been axed after 2 seasons due to low ratings. The series has 5 episodes left to air this season, although it is not known whether airing will cease for the time being. This move has come after UPN announced a merger with Warner Brothers in order to form the CW network. The CW, one network executive said, is going to cater to a different demographic, and Veronica Mars just doesn't fit that viewer pattern. The ratings are low, and we just can't justify production costs. And OP replies, aha, yes, wow, I thought it was lost to history. That is my article. Alright folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I have a beverage of choice right here. Amber, she has a joke.
Or am I fired from telling jokes, too?
Oh, you're fired, but go ahead, read your jovial Bobstein joke.
What's a monster's favorite game?
I can tell you exactly what a monster's favorite game is. It's Blob Hope.
Hide and shriek.
Hide and shriek. Yes, I'm sure that makes sense. And I have Mega Mint. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Friday! Congratulations! You made it to the end of the week, and so did I. I think I did, at least. I'm not 100% sure yet. We'll see tomorrow. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it as a famous quote from Abraham Lincoln about the internet.
You can't trust everything you see on the internet. Abraham Lincoln.
Exactly, folks. Spoken by one of our finest presidents. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye. Or maybe I won't see you because I'm fired.
That was a hoax, Amber. It was a hoax. You weren't really fired.